I can't explain it. But here, in this bamboo, on this river here, I've got a feeling. I might be wrong. Don't think I'm stupid. But I think the spirit's here. I don't hear any voices. I don't see any ghosts or anything like that. I don't feel anything. No vibrations, none of that crap. But when I look around, I think these men walk, their spirit walks through this country.
As an engineer, I can appreciate the wonderful work that was done here, the skill of the engineers, but I still haven't resolved the overall issue of what it is. It's a combination of triumph and tragedy. And I think that the thing that I come to closest is not the actual engineering aspect of the railway, but the triumph of the human spirit in the face of terrible adversity. Not that 100,000 people died, but that 200 or 250,000 survived. When, in all normal expectations, it wouldn't have been surprising if they'd practically all died. So, you know, I temper my admiration from the engineering aspect with the knowledge of the human tragedy here. So I just resolve this now by this wonderful triumph of the human spirit.
Once the jolly swagmen camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree, and he sang as the one that waited till his billy voice. Oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me.
I think it just seemed to be a natural thing with, well, Australians particularly, because we're free spirits virtually, and the war was on, so you just went and joined up.
So the medical test was the doctor would get each side of you and look through your ears. If they could see each other, they'd made you an officer. If they couldn't, they made you private. So I became a private, yeah.
We boarded the Queen Mary for Singapore. And my brother led us out of the harbour on the battleship the Canberra. Escorted us halfway across the Pacific. First thing the Japs first struck at 2 o'clock in the morning. Pitch black with white ink. And they pushed us back down through Gemilawang. We called for air support at daylight. And they sent up 2 planes. They was in the air 10 minutes, the Japs had shot them out. That's all the support we had.
And they came down so fast that they just couldn't stop them. They were overrunning airfields.
And the story that Singapore was impregnable was just a fairy tale, because they had big guns certainly pointing out to the sea, which might have stopped any ships coming in, but they didn't have a damn thing to stop any land attack. And that's where the Japs came. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but the Poms were just getting out and leaving airfields completely stocked with machinery and fuel, aircraft. In fact, the Japs, when they were coming down, they said that they lived on Churchill supplies coming down the mainland.
We never had any chance. All we had was rifle fire and a few machine guns. That's all we had to defend ourselves at that time. Had nothing. Well, they just they cut the water supply off to Singapore Island. The Japanese planes bombed it, setting the whole of Singapore Island on fire. It was alight.
There was no real organisation, I think. You know, the troops that were there fought very hard and did what they could, but we had no air support whatsoever, and I think that was really one of the critical factors in the whole business. The whole situation was utter chaos, and it was the biggest rout in British history.
When Singapore fell, we didn't know anything about it till virtually the next day, the 16th, and the runner got through to us, said to come back to where our headquarters were, got back there and told we were prisoners of war. That's how it happened.
The POWs were irrelevant, and they were a bonus. They didn't expect to have 100,000 POWs as labourers. They were going to build this railway using Asians. We've got some POWs, bonus, we'll use them first. And as they die off, then they're supplemented with Asian labourers.
We built a railroad, made it run from Thailand into Burma. We carted cross ties by the ton and cursed more than a murmur. From Singapore up country bound, a freight train cleared the station in Thailand at Ban Pong town, its final destination. That freight discharged 600 men. They marched into the jungle. 400 ne'er came out again. A cruel and senseless bungle.
Thai Burma Railway was a means for the Japanese army to get provisions through to their army in Burma prior to the possible invasion of India. And when the railway was commissioned, or the construction was commissioned in June 1942, the Japanese army was in the ascendancy in all theatres. So their very optimistic plans for attacking India at that stage were quite conceivable and probably achievable. So in June 1942, the Imperial Japanese Army ordered the instruction to build the railway. They already knew where it was going to. Right, so June 42, build the railway.